locker.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to today's session. So, today here we have Ms. Anjum Panna and Ms. Seema Shaikh in institutionalizing the use of social impact. Um, the stage is all yours. Good luck and welcome, everybody.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us. And this topic is so close to our heart because in her journey of being an educator, in Seema's journey of being an educator for nearly 40 years now, this is something that she has been striving to do. That how can learning travel from classrooms to the corridors and then to the community? And that transition is so important, wherein the learnings are not confined just to the four walls of the classroom, where the students are able to take it ahead, trying to make some kind of change in the surroundings, in their immediate surroundings. And then now my journey began just, I think, a decade back in the field of education. And I think that that has been the goal of our school to which both of us belong. So Seema is the principal and myself, I'm the head of experiences, collaboration and activities. So you know uh, our students, they belong to modest backgrounds, humble backgrounds. Most of them are first generation learners, and we don't know that whatever is being taught in class, will it be retained even once they reach home. So whatever magic we have to do with them, whatever change we are wanting to bring about within them, has to be done in the 6 hours that we are spending with our children. And that is what we try to do. So of course we will take you through the presentation, but here is a little bit of background of why this project that we took up and how did it become a success. So we did use a lot of resources right from the beginning, from interactive teaching aids to stories to puppets to conversations. And we kept on exploring these kind of resources that we have been using with our students. Now as time passed, we also upgraded the kind of resources that we were using in our classroom, but something was amiss. Yes, stories are beautiful. It was lovely earlier to listen to Leanne Lavender, a fantastic storyteller. The kind of insights that she gave on ICT were amazing. So stories are beautiful, but we were looking at something that creates a shared experience in class. Why do we go for movies? We go for movies because of that euphoria that is created when you watch a single film in the theater together. Otherwise we could have opted for OTTs, right? But still, why do we go to the screens? Because we want to have that shared experience. All of us want to feel that pain at the same time. All of us want to feel that happiness at the same time. And we figured that movies do have the power to do that. So if you could just go to the next slide, please. So so when we thought, oh, why films, why should we opt for films? So this is the reason why. Because firstly, it hits you differently. The kind of content you watch, whenever there is an audiovisual medium, it just manages to captivate the attention of the listener, of the audience. So it's beautiful in that manner. But also, as I mentioned earlier, it just allows the audience to experience that sense of belongingness towards that issue, the sense of responsibility towards that issue. So when we began, we were very naive because we were, exploring this medium for the very first time. So we were trying to get our hands on every kind of movie that we were getting. right from beautiful ad films from India and abroad, especially the Chinese ads. They are beautiful. So yes, so ad films, we were looking at YouTube short films, we are looking at Pixar animated films, things like the Invisible Man, or so there's a short film, or Float, that's again a short film. So we were using a lot of animated films as well. And we said, okay, fine, these are lovely. This is creating kind of a ripple in the classrooms. We see a lot of discussions happening, but we want more. What can we do so that our students get talking about the global issues? What can we do so that our students start feeling about the global issues? And just when we thought, oh my God, we are falling out of resources, we are running out of resources, that is when Seema Academy came in. And what a treasure trove it is. You know, every film so thoughtfully, so beautifully created for every SDG. And that was a home run. We said, oh my God, we need to use this, we have to use this. And Virginia Pitaro from Seema Academy has been so helpful. So she kept on encouraging us. The SDG challenge that our school took, it really allowed us to explore the kind of films available on the platform. And we figured that there are so many issues that we ourselves as educators were unaware about. Let us talk about a film on Seema Academy, The Green Gold, which is all about avocado farming, right? So therein there were interviews of the farmers, where farmers are talking about, that have how avocado uses a lot of water and how it is related to the life below water as well. That is when we also realize that these kind of films are something that should reach the classrooms, where the students are able to identify that each of our actions, each of our choices are related. Each of our choice will have a repercussion, right? So if I'm overusing natural resources, it will have a bad effect on the environment, it will have an adverse effect on the environment. And that is when we realize, okay, fine, let us take these films to the classroom. But yes, I will not lie, we had to watch a lot of films by ourselves, isn't it, Seema? Before we took it to the classrooms, we had to watch it. We had to know, okay, fine, how are we going to take it ahead? So just for all you viewers who are there, can we have the slide wheel process? The next slide, please. So as I said, why SDGs? So when we saw that Sima Academy um, is able to allow us to promote SDGs. So we thought that SDG has to be the new global language, So because it actively contributes to the achievements of a global responsibility of the citizens, it allows the students to get involved in the process of achieving SDGs. Yes, 2030 is the target, but this is now, I think we are already late, but I think this is now when we prepare our students to get ready for that accomplishment journey. And it ensures a inclusive development, and it enables addressing urgent and pressing challenges in today's world. So how did we plan on taking it ahead? The next slide will tell you about that. So how did we do it? Firstly, when we watched it ourselves, we asked ourselves, okay, while watching it, will our students be able to identify their pain points? Will it hit them the right way? Will they get thinking about it? So that was our core area. Then, when our students are watching it, will they be able to identify this particular global issue to any local problem in their immediate surroundings? And then, after watching it, will my students be able to do something to change the narrative? Because that was the ultimate goal. That after watching this, is it just becoming a form of entertainment? Oh, wow, nice movie, great work. No, we did not want that to stop there. We wanted the students to carry their thoughts to home, to lament about it, to ponder about it, and then come back to us saying that, teacher, that really hurt us, that really hurt us. Can we do something about it? We wanted that to happen. And we saw that Seema Academy Films did have the power to do that. So if we could just go to the next slide, I can show you the entire process that how it could be done. So I would really like to thank Miss Jennifer Geist, who became our first mentor, who actually introduced us to Seema Academy, I think 3 years back. So when we did her session, she introduced us to PERA, that is prepare, engage, reflect, and act. So, firstly, whenever we did any activity, we gave them a pre-activity. Whenever we chose any movie, we gave them a pre-activity. So that could be anything. Make a list or observe things around you. So let me give you an example here. For my learners who are around 11 to 12 years old, say fifth grade, I usually choose films which are set up in the Indian milieu so that they are able to connect better. Now, there is this movie named Across the Tracks, okay, wherein it is about a woman having to cross the tracks just to defecate. It's a routine thing, but she has to cross the tracks, and somewhere in isolation, she has to go, and there are so many threats that come along with it. So, the pre activity for this particular film was make a list of your needs and wants, okay, and luxuries. Okay, my students made an entire list, a lengthy list. Out of the 69 students who were there in class, none of them mentioned toilets, because for all of us it's a given. Okay, we all take it for granted because all of us have one in our house. Nobody thinks about it. But then when they watched that film and said, oh my god, teacher, we never thought that for someone with whom we share the same citizenship, for that person having a toilet is a luxury. you know so they never realized it. And that pre-activity came across like a surprise factor, like a shock factor. Oh my god, a woman, she's not even like 800 kilometers away from where I stay, but she doesn't have a toilet. How different could it be? So these are the kind of pre-activities that we're talking about. There was this one film, I'm again, I really want to share examples. There's this film in Seema Academy itself, named Dignity with Flowers, wherein the people who actually used to clean up the sewage tanks, the sewers, now they have been employed to collect the flowers and make essence sticks. That is the job that they have been given. The most happiest moment for them was that now rich people have started coming to their houses. They have started visiting their houses. Earlier nobody even looked at them, but now they are visible. There are people who live just in the hope of being seen. But when you watch these films, when our students watch these films, they realize that. And there was one such a touching moment, and even today when I speak about it, I get goosebumps. So the narrator of that film was asking, or the person who employed them was asking the woman, so what is the best thing that you like about this job? The lady who was employed for the first time for incense stick making, very innocently she said, you know uh, first time in my life I'm sitting on a stool. Like, sitting on a chair is so common for us, but it was first time in her life that someone offered her a stool to sit. And when my students saw that, and they said, teacher, we sit on benches every day. She's like, the woman that I see on the screen must be around 40, 50. Is it true that she's sitting on a stool for the first time in her life? And that is the empathy that is created through films. And so we were sure that when my students are watching films, it's not only a source of entertainment, it is stirring something within them at the core, which is going to remain with them even when they go back home, even when they turn into adults, even when they have a family of their own. So this is where the journey started solidifying. This is when we had a hardcore process in place. So yes, we started with the pre-activity, then the para, and then we showcased the film. The third stage was showcasing the film, and then we had a sift worksheet. SIFT worksheet was again something, a beautiful gift given to us by Miss Jennifer Geist. So it is a simple worksheet when the first column is scene. What was the scene? Now, when you were watching that scene, what was the physiological sensation that your body felt? Physiological. It has got nothing to do with how you're feeling right now. But did you have goosebumps? Did your eyes well up? Did you clench your teeth? Right? Did you have some rumbling in your stomach? A sudden rumbling? So what happened? We realized it later that the more and more our students started doing the SIFT, they were getting better at social emotional learning, because the very first step of social emotional learning is self awareness. So they were becoming aware about self, about their physiological changes that are happening within them because of an external stimulus, right? So SIFT, so S stands for the sensations, I stands for images. Now when I read the word images the very first time when I was introduced to SIFT, I said, images? Images will be the same thing that I see on the screen, right? But no, when we thought about it by Jennifer, she said images are when you're watching something. What can you think about something else in your own context? I might be watching a domestic violence scene on screen, but maybe the images that are coming to my mind is of my friend who is getting abused at home, right? Is of the marks of my friend that I have seen with my own eyes, right? So those are images. The feelings, how am I feeling about it? Do I feel sad? Do I feel agitated? And it is very important, uh, especially in their adolescent, when they are unable to know that how am I feeling. It is very important at this stage that we are able to give names to emotions. Children, when they are around 13, 14 years, they either feel sad, angry, or hungry. Hungry is the most common emotion for them, right? But doing this activity allowed them to understand emotions. Are they feeling agitated? Are they feeling low? Are they feeling aggressive? Are they feeling that they just want to stab someone? And by doing this activity, we realized that our students became more freer in their conversations with their teachers. I think this gave them a platform. Earlier when Leanne was talking in the panel discussion before this, she mentioned that what power an individual would feel when they finally know that their voices are being heard. And I think that this was the moment that they really started feeling that, oh, yes, we have been heard. Yes, there is someone to listen to us. And, a few months back, when I was engaging in conversation with an educator from India, she asked us one question, that what is the most expensive thing, or what is the most expensive gift that a child can give you? And amongst all the other responses, one response that stood out, it's his secret. And we realized that students had started spilling out their secrets at home. And that is something that we can reach out to. We may be able to alter their realities. We may be able to mend their realities if we know that what are they going through. We see our students, but do we really feel them every time? Not necessarily. But these films allowed us to do that. After the SIFT, we had a discussion. But then, this was for the initial months, right? But then again, we wanted all this process to transform into action. So, can we go to the next slide, please? Yes. So, it began with an inclusion of a 45-minute SDG period, wherein films were also being showcased. Then we formed a core team. Although it was only myself and Seema who had been doing the APSU, APTW, UNESCO courses, we felt that having a core team is very, very important. So we trained a few students and a few teachers who could take it ahead in their classrooms. That is how we could have an entire team working towards an aligned vision. That was very important. And that could happen only when our team of teachers could see the positive impact of the weekly films that myself and Seema were showing the students. When they finally saw, oh yes, we see a change in them, that is when we were able to align our visions to the vision of our teachers. And designing the structure of the program, dialogue pedagogy, this is something so beautiful. I don't think that anything supersedes a dialogue in the classroom. Myself and Seema, we keep telling all the educators that we meet that everything that we do in the classroom is so incomplete without a dialogue. Even if you're watching the film, even if you're telling a story, even if you're reading out a poem, there has to be a dialogue. Because our students are our classrooms are so heterogeneous. Each child is coming from a different background, from a different story, from a different culture, from a different economic background, right? So their perception is going to differ. The way that I see a tree may not be the same way that my friend sees a tree, who lives beside the garden. I might see it with like, oh my god, I wish I could swing on this tree. But for him, it is going to be an everyday thing. He will look at it very differently. He might think about cutting the wood and making a furniture out of it, right? So the perception is going to differ. So dialogue, yes. Then inclusion of SIFT, followed by understanding of para. So sometimes we had world cafes. When there are groups who brainstorm together, come up with new ideas. Brainstorming was very successful and very effective, followed by the execution and the implementation, and lastly, observing the impact, that whatever they did from the classroom to the corridors to the community, finally, did it have an impact, right? And did it have a lasting impact? We 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 are kind of figuring it out that um, the students who have started working on it like maybe 1 year back, they are going to soon pass out from our 10th grade, and they're going to be on their own in their college years. So we are really trying to figure it out, that are these learnings going to stay with them? I am sure that we will, we have those plans in the future, which of course Seema will be talking about later. So can we go to the next slide, please? These are just some pictures, we conducting the sessions, the students responding, the students sharing their stories, the students sharing that what is something that stuck out with them from the entire 10-minute 12-minute movie or a 30-minute movie sometimes. Can we go to the next slide, please? Yes. Now these are some films that we showed the students. So World and Me, A Magical Place, Honey. Of course, you'll also see some stories which are on YouTube. These are not only Seema Academy, but other films as well, because we began with those films and then gradually we have succeeded to Seema Academy. So Walking with Reality, The Day in Court, Our Story, Your Story, so many more films. But the process entailed segregating these films as per the goals that we wanted to focus on. So these are the four goals. In the next slide, you will see the other goals. Yes. So for gender equality as well, we chose the movies that were available on Seema Academy and we showed our students. And this is where that, they started asking questions, they started thinking, and they started brainstorming. So when they saw that, oh my god, so much of food is being wasted in one of the films, when they saw that what happens when so much of food is wasted, what happens to that food, where does it end up? So when they were watching that film and when they started brainstorming, now these, let me tell you, these are only 12 and 13-year-old students, but oh my god, how they think it's so beautiful. So they started back tracing whatever they do on the weekends, and they said, oh, we usually go to the restaurants. So I said, okay, fine. Restaurants, right now, do not limit yourself. Just think out loud. It's okay. Your idea might sound foolish, but just speak, just speak. So that is why these World Cafe circles and these brainstorming circles are so amazing, because, nothing is wrong here. We are just thinking out aloud. And sometimes in a structured classrooms, the students don't get this opportunity. So when these brainstorming circles happen, all of them want to be a part of it. But sometimes, due to the paucity of time and project time, sometimes we have to, limit it to a sample group. So we used to take a group of diverse learners, bring them together, and they used to just think out loud. We used to do a lot of idea pooling together. And then the student said, we go to restaurants. Okay, I said, okay, bingo, restaurants. Now think aloud. What do we do? So they started thinking, okay, we order food. Do we always pack food? Oh no, it's very embarrassing. When there is only like a little bit left, it's very embarrassing to have that packed. I said, okay, so it's embarrassing, but do you think that that is right? They said, no, teacher, that is not right. I said, okay, so next time you don't have to be embarrassed, right? Said, okay. So what else do you do? So they said, one of the child said that, teacher, when I'm at home, I'm eating my chapatis, that is the bread. I'm eating my chapatis, my vegetables, my rice, and my dal in the same plate. I'm eating all of this in the same plate. But suddenly, when I'm paying money for it, I want a separate plate for my roti. I want my separate plate for for the vegetables. I want a separate plate for my dal and rice. And I fail to understand that. That is what the child said. I said, bingo, great. What do you want to do about this? So, a 13-year-old, he said that, teacher, do you think that we can tell the restaurant guys not to offer them a separate plate? I said, do you want to give it a try? They said, yes, why not? Can we? Said, yes. See, if you are willing to do that, we as a school are here to support you. All right. So then they prepared an entire plan. They prepared placards. They went to restaurants. They did, restaurant people were not allowing us to get into their restaurants for that rally, because we had logos, we had slogans like, let our leisure not turn into a liability for the environment. Eating at a restaurant is a leisure for us, but it's turning into a liability for nature. So so when people read it, they might, it might cause a change of heart, and they might, I don't know what fears they had, but initially they did not let us in, but still we did. And our students did a rally inside. They spoke to the consumers. Out of the 13 consumers, I remember, that they spoke to, nearly 9 of them said that yes, we always ask for a separate plate for various, for various courses, whereas at home we don't need it. So why do I need it here? And I am going to stop doing that. They pledged. I really hope that they are sticking to that pledge. But yes, a few days later, when we re-interviewed the restaurant people, they said that, we did not realize, but when our consumers started requesting for only one plate, we are also saving out on our water. We don't need so much of the soap or water to wash those dishes. So how everything is interconnected. So my students were really happy to know that. Of course, there are many other examples. When they saw a film on education, they started an entire read to lead program. They took books, just went to every nook and corner and started reading out aloud. And people started gathering, you know just because books are so captivating. Even if I don't understand that language, I know that I'll understand the tone. I know that I'll understand something of that story. So people just stood there. People who may not even understand English, but they stood there. And then after some time, when we went to those gardens, after we had installed those cupboards, we saw people wanting us to come and read to them, wanting our students to come and read to them. So read to lead program was yet another successful one. When they saw a movie on mental health, what my students did was they created a peace club in school. And that peace club was so beautiful. We ran it for nearly 15 days. We started it in October, and it also happened until this October, wherein it was a peace club for the students, by the students. So all the students who wanted to be a part of it only told their teacher that, no, this time is the peace club, please send us to the peace club room. The students came, and the person moderating it was a child itself. Can we have the next slide? You will see all these pictures on the next slide, on our impact stories. Yes, so the very first picture that you see is out of order. the food wastage. So they are my students are just standing outside the restaurant and doing those rallies and chanting those slogans and speaking to the consumers. So here, as you see, the inception of mental health club. So there it was a mental health club of the students by the students. When it was the student who moderated that club, it was the student who asked that, is everything going well? Is it something that you are experiencing in school? What can I do to help you? So I think, uh, forget about what the child will be able to do after he realizes what the problem is, but believing that yes, I am in a position to do something gives that child so much of power, that yes, I can ask him that what can I do for you, and I will make it happen. So look at the kind of pose that child is giving. It's a very candid picture, but there's so much of confidence that yes, I'm here to listen. And I think empathy begins with listening. So a lot of empathy came into the classroom as well. Then when we watched a film on peace, our students created peace journals, all of them. Can we have the next slide, please? Some more impact stories. Our students started becoming more aware about the environment. They started engaging themselves more in the in everything related to, right from planting trees to understanding the biodiversity. Then community outreach was amazing, wherein they got themselves trained on how to prepare on how to repair leaking taps. Now, why this program? Because a lot, a huge part of India stays in the slums, okay, and they have got these common toilets. Now, in the common toilets, when the tap drips, they don't at the most they will just tie a cloth around it. Okay, they will not bother to call a plumber. Now, why? Because that comes with a cost, and they don't want to spend that money that they have collected over the year for repairing of the taps. So they just make do with tying a cloth. But my students, they took training. So Seema arranged for a training from the plumber. The entire team came. Firstly, they counted that how much of water has been wasted from a leaking tap in 24 hours, and it was more than 2 liters in 24 hours. So they calculated, oh my god, how much water is getting wasted. So that really hit hard. And then they trained themselves in how to repair a leaking tap. Not only did they go to the slum areas and repaired the taps of their common toilets, but they also empowered the people of the slum areas to repair their own taps, so that they don't have to worry about the fees of the plumber, but at the same time feel empowered to do the daily jobs themselves. And they also end up saving a lot of money and time. And then, of course, we have got collaborations. Recently, we collaborated with a fabulous educator from Kenya, Kyoto School, and we watched Out of Plastic together, their students and our students. And then we collaborated together, and the plastic problems are so much similar in Kenya than that in India. And that is when my students realize, oh, yes, plastic is a global menace. What can we do about it? And now during the Diwali vacations, they have worked on, how can we reduce plastic. But watching films together in a collaborative project really allowed the students to think about global issues, and really allowed them to think that how, as my country has challenges, even the other country have their own challenges, and that is how they started having this entire sense of Vasudeva Kutumbakam, how we say in India, the world is one big family. So if it is your challenge, how can I help you? How can I undertake little actions that may be able to solve your problem, and vice versa? So that was the entire camaraderie that came into this collaborative projects. And after the impact stories, there was a lot of change, change that was brought within and outside. And there are some beautiful anecdotes that our students actually came up and shared with me, with Seema. And I would love Seema to talk about it, because she talks about it so passionately. So, Seema, here you go. I stop here.
Yeah, no, thank you so much, Anjum. Thank you for that lovely delivery. And I feel that We have really tried to reach out to the children through these films, and I feel that we have started understanding our children more better, and the impact has been humongous. Let me share with you just 2 3 examples. The first thing, and I think the change has come even in our educators, in the teachers of the classrooms, so initially, definitely there are always challenges, and everyone doesn't agree with whatever new ideas that you come up with. There is always a resistance, but slowly a change started coming up. And what I saw was that one of the teachers came up and said that we need to do something, which with your permission. And I said, what is that? So she said, we have to make it a daily practice that as we start the day, we ask the children to ask us questions. It may be very very simple question, that teacher, why are you looking tired today, or why are you wearing this blue sari today? Questions as simple as that. And that has now become a practice in the school. So the first 10 minutes as the teacher enters the class, children are given a free hand to ask any kind of question. And gradually the quality of questions has started changing. The questions have now taken a different kind of route. I see that children are now questioning. Just last week's example, before the vacations could begin, they started asking questions about the elections. And they said, whom do you think should we elect? Whom do you think that our parents should vote for? And then the whole conversation about the party manifesto, how we have to, why elections are held, what is democracy, everything came up. And then I showed them a small film on democracy, which is in our Indian language, on our constitution. And they were so happy about it. What made me feel happy was that now they have started questioning. And that awareness was very, very important for us. We were showing films to them, and there is one movie called Saransh, which is again an Indian movie. We showed that movie to the children, and as a post activity, we took the children to the old age home. And the children, we distributed some food to them, children presented some programs. We had taken our 8th standard students over there, and we came back after about 4 5 days. The parents come to me, and they said, teacher, um, thank you very much. And I asked, for what? So they said, on last week was our son's birthday, and he had planned a grand birthday, and he had told us that, I want you to prepare this, and we have to go for a movie and cake and celebration and everything. To be very honest, we were a bit worried. He's our only son. So we did not want to disappoint him, but our pockets did not allow that. But we did not tell him so. You took him to that center, he visited the old age home, and he realized that rather than spending money on these things, he should spend more on something that is more essential. And so he started working on a different line. And what he did was, he brought all the gifts, small, small gifts he took, and he went to the old age home along with his parents on his birthday. And they had a very, very simple birthday at home. And I think that was something that really touched us. It really made me feel that, yes, our learning has impacted. One more incident that I would like to share is when the film was shown on gender equality. I don't remember the name of the film. One child stood up and he said, today I'm going to go home and talk to my uncle. I have now realized that what he is doing to my aunt is not right. And he actually, after going home, because we have joint families over here in India, after going home, what he did was that he told his uncle, Uncle, this is not the way you have to treat auntie. Allow her to work, allow her to do what she wants to. You just cannot dictate terms for her. And I think when we came to know about it through his parents, we were so touched. He said, oh my God, this Seema Academy films are really making a very, very positive impact. Uh, Inclusive approach was something that we observed after showing the film. So there was one film. There was a small. Actually, it was not a film, but it was something to do with diversity, and we were showing that. And the children were so influenced by it that today we find that children. I have six autistic children in the school, of which two autistic children do not have a shadow teacher. But I do not have to worry or bother, because what I find is that these children of the class are taking care of this autistic child, and they are writing for him, they are reading out for him, they go with him to the washroom and take every possible care of this child. All these impact stories are endless. They will continue, because we are so passionate about it. But we look at it from a different angle also. Not only me, but even my teachers have realized that many times what is taught in the school, what the children learn in school, is unlearned at home, because the parents are in a different zone. So now our future plan is to take these films, this repository, to different localities. We have a lot of slum pockets, and we also have a lot of elite areas around us. And we have tried to introduce ourselves in both these areas. So we are doing a project of learning through films for the local societies in our area as well as the slum area. For that, our plan is to prepare a team of students, because we believe in student leadership. We have designed programs for student leadership, and your movie time is something which we have given the responsibility to our students. Our students are going to take that ahead. So our students are getting trained now. We have started training our students, and the students will be showcasing the films in the slum area as well as in the societies that are around our school. We also feel that our school should not be the only one taking it ahead, because I think that together we can achieve more. And not only that, but I think that it's essential that we all connect, correct ourselves, collaborate, and move ahead together. So, with that intention, now we have connected with the neighboring two schools, and we have asked them to allow us to showcase the films in their school, and we are not charging anything for this purpose. No charges. We will be bearing the cost of travel, of training our children. Everything will be done by us, because our sole intention is to see that our children are able to reach out to more and more children, because I think that is what is citizenship all about. When we talk of global citizenship, as Mahatma Gandhi says, that think globally but act locally. So we want our children to act locally. So when they start doing this at this stage, I think there will be a time when they are out into the locality, into the society. As they grow up, they leave the school and they move ahead in life. Still, these memories will remain not just as memories, but wherever they go, I think they will always put the planet and people before their own prosperity. And that is what we are looking out for. We continuously keep on talking to them about people, prosperity, and planet, the three P's, and how, as individuals, they have to place. With this future plans, I think there will be a lot of challenges. Right now, even getting schools was very difficult for us, because schools are not ready to shell out time. I have not taken any official permission from the government to showcase the movies, but our teachers are ready to wait for that little extra time, so that children are able to see and watch those movies. Other challenges that many times parents feel that it is a wastage of time, and that is why we felt that we have to reach out to the community, because our children come from these community. So when our parents understand the value of these films, when these films start impacting them, and impact stories of the parents get created, I think then the movement will really gather a momentum and we will be able to move ahead. The whole thought behind starting with this movie time was that we want to create empathy in our students, compassionate students. We want to make our school a compassionate school where I think feelings are more important. Attitude will decide the altitude of the students, is what we believe. And for that, we are looking out for this transformation. We are very sure that this is not going to happen overnight. This metamorphosis is going to take a long, long time, but we will never give hope. And I believe that hope is going on when you feel you can't. So I think that our humble attempt of bringing about this change is supported by the society. And I think that initially there may be some resistance because when there are so many OTT platforms available today and easy way to watch films, to see something like Seema Academy may not be appreciated instantly. But I think the activities that we will be conducting pre and post is something that is going to make a marked difference. Those activities which will involve the parents, put them into action, make them take the action mode, and when it shows results, I think the change is definitely going to happen. We will not give up hope because we believe that if we have the right movement, it definitely gets a momentum from everyone. So, yes, my big, big thank you to Seema Academy for giving us this opportunity. Jennifer, Virginia, all these people who have supported us, FCU, who in the first place allowed us to know that something like Seema Academy exists, and that gave us an idea. And we, along with these films of UNESCO, because they are in English, we are also trying to see how we can help them by giving a narrative of those stories. And I think when we watch it, a lot can be learned without words. The very picture gives us, sets the ball rolling, and we can really sense it. I watch so many Korean films. I don't understand a word of Korean language, but I understand the films. So we are not giving up hope. We are sure that our parents, our community, our locality will definitely understand what we are trying to do. And I think once it's put into action, then the answer is there. Yeah. Thank you so much. And over to Anjum for the last
Thank
words.
you. Thank you. It's just, I think we're just a few minutes away from saying goodbye to each other. But I would just like you to take to the second last slide. Something very important. Yes, this one. So what all these films have allowed us to do is subtly, subconsciously, our children are getting ready for the IDGs. So that is the inner development goals, which is nothing but the changes that we need to bring within ourselves so that we are able to achieve the SDGs. So that we are able to, to think, to just be, to able to relate, to collaborate and act. So these are the soft skills that we need so that we are able to achieve SDGs by 2030. And this program has allowed us to do that. So yes, thank you to everybody who has been a part of this journey and continues to be a part. It was so nice of Miss Virginia to tell us that, if you need, she can give access to all our teachers who is wanting to take Seema into the classrooms, because right now what we have to do is we have to bring the students to our AV room and show them that. But that kind of support is required, and I think that only a true educator can do that and can understand that pinch, that when you really want to take good content to your classrooms. So thank you to everyone who has been a part of this, and thank you to the wonderful audience here who is watching us, although we cannot see all of you, but we can see and read your comments. So that is so encouraging. So just as we say goodbye, every time I'm on an international forum, I always like to end with a song. So it just goes, it's a world of laughter, a world of tears, a world of hopes and a world of fears. There's no time to spare, but it's time we are aware. It's a small world after all. So I think it's a small world, and we are dealing with the smallest magic that God has created, that is children, and they are with us in the classroom. So let us do the best tricks on them, so that they turn into best adults when they grow up. So thank you so much to everyone, and thank you so much, International Conference of Transformative Education, for having us.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Anjum and Seema. That was an incredible, incredible session. I can relate to this as well because, especially during recent years, you see that reels and TikToks are all over the place, and it's for good reason because everyone is a visual learner, and it's a way better way to communicate and learn information. So this was very realistic and an amazing, amazing. Um, New idea that is being implemented. I love it so much. Thank you both so much for today's session.